Hey folks, here we go again. Here's part 2 of the Storm Eunice versus Kilt-Man saga. And things have upped the ante a little bit, but nothing spectacular. I mean, you can probably hear the wind is billowing around here. I mean, this is Merseyside. There's been lots of reports from all around the country. Oh, by the way, it is now about 1:45 in the afternoon, so we've had midday. All the times when the storm was meant to be really hitting and lashing and destroying everything in its path have kind of happened, and we haven't been hit at all as yet. But I know that down south and certainly in Wales and other places, that red warning of death, destruction from above has been in full effect, and they've had lots of footage of people walking down the promenades. I think Penrith there was a little bit of footage there. You had some very attractive blonde, much better looking than me, reporting on the whole thing, and she was there and she was getting buffeted around like that, and you kind of wish you just want to see her go way off to Kansas, and that's what you're all wanting to see, isn't it? That's what they're saying to her. I mean, it's not safe, is it? Stand there, right by the crashing waves on the embankment wall. Stand there, and we'll film you there. And she's like, whoa, is she getting paid enough for that? I don't know. I mean, right here, right now, we've got the Mersey estuary and the River Mersey, which is where you're looking at me there. It's that way, it's behind you guys. The big River Mersey. And where I live, where Kilt Mansion is situated, it's right on the northwest corner of that big hard-on that is the Wirral Peninsula. And we're right in the northwestern corner, so we get hit by all sorts of weather all the time. So this is not new to us. Jesus Christ, this is baby stuff so far. But they've closed down loads of the shops down the front there, loads of the embankments and the walls, and the marine parade is all over and shut and closed, because the waves come crashing right over the embankment. And I remember as a kid, that used to be spectacular. What you'd do, I mean, you can imagine what we would do. The waves are crashing over, so you try and time it, you get by the embankment wall, and so all of a sudden this tsunami will come over, about 20, 30 foot up in the air, and you try to run out the way of it, and you always did, and it hit the deck, and you get showered with all the spray from behind. And you're like, ha ha ha, gotta beat you, all that kind of shit. You imagine if that actually hit you. Because the warnings are, if you do venture out on the embankments and you're walking on a coastal path and one of these waves comes over, it's gonna hit you and drag you out. And with the wind and the surge, you won't get out of that water alive. Now that is true, that's genuinely true. I mean, that's just common sense would tell you that as well. But not only that, you wouldn't even survive the actual weight of the water crashing down on you. That's going to be like literally a ton of bricks or more hitting you on the noggin and smacking you flat on the deck and then dragging your carcass back out to sea. Not a good way to go, is it really? And in that Penrith broadcast, there was also you could see there was all people who were down there, sort of like walking past the embankment, and the waves were coming over, and you saw like the pier, and there was all waves crashing over that, but there was these two old fogies with those little those sort of not walking sticks, but those walking assist canes. You like ski poles. I mean, you see younger people with them as well, and they're walking over the hills and the dales. And you could tell, that he was all for this. Go on, Gladys. This is our daily constitutional. I'll get my blowjob off Eunice, and then we'll go back for a good hard shag. But you could see that she was not in the mood at all. Forget the shag. She just didn't want to go out walking in this hullabaloo. And you can see she's holding back like that and trying to put one, these ski poles on the deck. People can be so stupid, can't they? Says the guy that if this kicks off properly, because the way it's scheduled now, it's hitting different parts of the country. Scotland are getting snow and ice and all sorts of blizzardy conditions. The south, the southeast, southwest, the south, let's just go to the south of England is getting buffeted by the wind and the rain, and all we're getting at the moment. We had torrential rain for about an hour or two this morning, but that's it really. And now we've just got this sort of rather pleasant, refreshing uplifting, up-kilting sort of draft, which is neither here nor there. Certainly isn't cold. It is not cold at all. The temperature's actually gone up. I think it's actually about 13 degrees or something like that, which is ridiculous when you think about it, but the wind will try and knock that down a bit. So if it does kick off in a bit of a more spectacular fashion, I might go oot and about, rather than just, the wrecked environment of the kilt. This part of the Kilted Garden is a fucking mess. Over there is much nicer, but Mrs. Kilt-Man doesn't want to film there, just wants to film this part. There's certain bits of the mansion which are off limits to this camera. For legal reasons, obviously. Torture chambers and stuff like that, Whoa! Here we go. See, what happens is, what destroyed the conservatory? Where you are now, you're actually just in the doorway of the conservatory, the new conservatory. And the way the wind, I've described it before, regular viewers will know all this. The wind, no matter what direction it may come that way, it may come over the top, it may come directly this way, but the way the other buildings are situated, what it does, it'll come crashing in and it'll get turned in a completely anti-clockwise cycle. It's kicking off a bit now, and it forever comes this way from that side, and the roof above you, the panels would lift, and then would take flight. Not so now though, hey, I hope. If all the stats are to be believed, these are category A. NASA, on the International Space Station, they're looking out of the same windows that you've got here. Whoa, hey! As you can see, our beer barrel is now, if it freezes over, it'll be a nice little bit of dancing on ice later on perhaps. But it certainly isn't cold, and lots of wreckage has been blown in and stuff like that. Hopefully that'll blow somewhere else by the end of the day, because this is meant to blow itself out during the course of the evening and overnight. But I mean, the thing is, all that they've said so far, the times wise, has been slightly wrong. It's meant to have happened earlier, but it's happening later now. And another bit of news: in the Isle of Wight, they recorded a gust of wind at 122 miles per hour. What? Holy shit! That's quite a gust of wind, isn't it? Now that apparently is a record breaker. That's the strongest gust of wind that we've had in the British Isles ever, apparently. So that was the Isle of Wight. That's nowhere near here. But anyway, so yeah, lest you think I'm not wearing a kilt in this inclement of weathers, but I wear a kilt every damn day. Doesn't matter what Mother Nature hurls at me. So if it gets a bit strong and a bit more hairier than this, I'll take you out and about. And I'm not wishing damage and wreckage. I'm not doing it. Don't confuse any of this sort of like disappointment that nothing's really happened yet. I'm also the same about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Nothing has happened yet. And again, I don't want damage. I don't want people getting hurt. But you kind of want. If you're promised that something's going to happen, this is going to be the destructor. This is going to be hell on earth. But it hasn't happened. You keep threatening these things, and nothing ever comes of it. As I go, way, cartwheeling into the Mersey. And that wouldn't be the first time. Anyway, folks, that's part 2 of Storm Eunice versus Kilt-Man. And so far, Kilt-Man is kicking Eunice's tits right off. Because he ain't doing nothing. Eunice! Yeah, big, soft tart, yeah. The wind and the rain. Why? Laters!